Welcome. We've probably done as much as we need to do as far as conic sections, so I'd like to move into a new category of matrices. But before we do matrices, I want to make sure you can remember how to solve systems of equations, specifically a system of three equations with three unknowns. So for instance, I'm going to sign IXL lesson I9 in the pre-calculus. So I9, and it's going to give you three equations, three unknowns. I really recommend you use paper and pencil and you kind of follow this systematic method in solving these. It will make it so much easier. We're going to use the process of elimination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first write down these three equations, 3x minus 2y minus 2z equals negative 15. And then x minus y minus 2z is going to equal negative 20. And lastly, negative 3x plus y minus 2z is equal to 6. Now, the most important thing is to make sure you get these written down correctly when you do it, because if you've made a single mistake, you're going to spend a lot of time doing something that you shouldn't have. So the negative 3x matches, the negative 2y matches, the negative 2z equals a negative 15. The x matches, the negative y matches, the negative 2z equals a negative 20. And the negative 3x plus the y minus the 2z equals 6. I cross my z's so I don't mistake them for 2's, and I was just basically comparing them with my original equation. Now, what we're looking for is the point where these three equations intersect. They're actually planes, but the way we're going to do this is we're going to eliminate one variable first from the two equations. And what I like to do is I'm going to combine these top two equations to give me a different equation, and I'm going to combine the bottom two equations to give me a different equation. But in so doing, I want to eliminate a variable. So what I do is I look to say, all right, which variable is going to be the easiest to eliminate? If you hopefully remember the process of elimination, I think these z's will be the easiest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this middle equation by a negative 1. If I do that, this will become a negative x, this will become a positive y, this will become a positive 2z, and this will become a positive 20. The reason I did that is I found that the easiest to eliminate the z's. When I add now, I have a negative 3x minus x, which gives me a negative 4x. I have a negative 2y plus y, which gives me a minus y. I have the negative 2z plus 2z, which eliminate, equals a negative 15 plus 20 would be 5. Now I'm going to add the bottom one to the middle one, because again, that's going to eliminate my z values. So I'm going to have a negative 3x minus x, which is a negative 4x. I'm going to have a positive y plus y, which is going to be 2y. The z's cancel. And then I have a 6 plus 26, or plus 20, is 26. Now, again, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to narrow this down to one equation in one variable by eliminating either the x's or the y's. And now, again, it looks like the x's will be the easiest to eliminate. I'm just going to multiply this top equation by a negative 1. So this will become a positive 4x. This will become a positive y. This will become a negative 5 because I multiplied everything by negative 1. Now when I add, my x's cancel. I have y plus 2y is 3y equals, and then negative 5 plus 26 is 21. Your last step, divide by the 3, and I find out my y value is 7. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way back. I'm going to plug this y value of 7 into one of these two equations. So I'm going to go negative 4x plus 2 times 7 equals 26. Negative 4x plus 14 equals 26. Negative 4x equals, because I'm going to minus the 14 from both sides, it's going to equal 12. Divide by negative 4, and I get x is negative 3. So now I have my x value, I have my y value. Now I'm going to plug those two values back into one of my original equations for x and for y and find my z value. So I'm going to go negative 3 times, what was x? Negative 3 plus my y value, which was 7, minus 2z equals 6. I got a positive 9 plus 7 minus 2z equals 6. 9 plus 7 is 16 minus 2z equals 6, or negative 2z equals, if I minus 10 or minus 16 from both sides, I get a negative 10. And then divide by negative 2, and I get z is 5. Now, when we write our ordered pair, it's always in alphabetical order, x, y, z. That's how you're going to type it into your iExcel assignment. So I'm going to type in my negative 3 first, then I'm going to type in my 7, and then I'm going to type in my 5. So let's go do that over here, and let's see if I was able to do this right. I'm going to type in negative 3. I'm going to type in 7, and I'm going to type in 5 and hit submit. And lo and behold, I did it great. So now let's do this process one more time. You need to rewind and watch that one again, you may. But the most important thing again is making sure you write down everything correctly and you pick the easiest variable to eliminate. I'm going to actually do this one because some of you would get very confused because one of the equations is missing the variable x. And you'll go, oh, well, it's missing a variable, so how do I do it? Well, you're going to still do it the exact same way. And I will explain why. So 3z equals negative 1. I have a negative 2y plus 2z equals negative 8. I have x plus 3y plus z equals 11. Now, first thing I'm going to do is make sure I've written it down right. The negative 3x matches, the negative y matches, the 3z matches, the negative 1. The negative 2y matches, the plus 2z matches, the negative 8, the x, the 3y, the z, and the 11. All right, so I match my problem over here. What I'm going to do is, in the previous one, I combined the top two and the bottom two. I don't have to necessarily do it like that. I can combine the top two and the top and the bottom, or I can do the bottom two and the top and the bottom. Or in other words, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that middle one and I'm just going to rewrite it right here because the middle one already has an x eliminated. So I'm going to write negative 2y plus 2z equals negative 8. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these bottom two, but I'm going to make sure I eliminate the x. So in order to do that, I'm going to multiply this bottom one by a 3. So this will become 3x, and I'm multiplying every single term. Remember, that's what I'm doing. I'm adjusting this by a factor of 3, plus 9y plus 3z equals 33. So now when I combine the top one with the bottom one, the x's will cancel. 9y minus y is going to be 8y. 3z and 3z will become a plus 6z. And 33 minus the 1 is going to be 32. Now what I'm going to do is combine those two equations to eliminate a variable. The easiest variable, I think, to eliminate for this one would probably be the z, because I like to keep my numbers the smallest. I'm going to multiply by a -3. So if I multiply by -3, that's going to become a positive 6y, a negative 6z. And again, I'm multiplying by -3, so that's going to become a positive 24. So now when I combine that top equation with the bottom one, 6y plus 8y is 14y. The negative 6z and the 6z cancel. 24 plus 32 is going to equal 56. Divide by my 14, and I find out my y value, I believe, is 4. Now that I have my y value, I'm going to stick it back into one of these two equations. I'm working backwards now. So I'm going to go 8 times, what's my y value? 4 plus 6z equals 32. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 6z equals 32, minus the 32. Here's another thing that sometimes students really get confused about. 6z equals 0, they think, oh, no solution, or they think, I'm not sure what they think, but you can divide by 6. There's nothing wrong with having a 0 value for one of your variables. I get a z value of 0. Now I'm going to plug in the z value of 0 and the y value of 4 back into one of my other equations. So I got 3x, well, I didn't need the parentheses there, plus 9 times y. What did we say y was? 4. I'm using this red one. To make it quicker, let's use the original. The numbers are smaller. So I'm going to do x plus 3 times my y value of 4. I always use one of the original. Don't use one of the altered ones just in case you made a mistake on it. Plus the numbers usually will be smaller. Z was 0, which is nice, equals 11. I get 3x plus 12 equals 11, minus the 12 from both sides, and I find out my x value is -1. Again, x first, then y, then z. So my final solution will be a -1, my y value of 4, my z value of 0. So there's my solution. I come over here, I type in -1, I type in 4, and I type in 0. And I hit submit, and lo and behold, I did it wonderfully. Hopefully this is enough to get you going on this assignment. It's the only one I'm going to assign today. If you do have questions, please do log on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon during my open office hours through Zoom, or email me and we can set up a one-on-one time where I can help you with your assignments. And have a very good day.